Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing 4 Marvel graphic novels that all involve Loki. The first being Thor and Loki, Blood Brothers by Robert Brody. Volumes 1 and 2 of Journey into Mystery by Kieran Gillen. And Loki, Agent of Asgard by Al Ewing. Thor and Loki, Blood Brothers by Robert Brody features Loki, who has taken over the throne, and he has imprisoned everyone who has ever wronged him, including his stepbrother Thor. But the throne isn't everything Loki thought it would be. Blood Brothers is about self-discovery and the meaning of destiny. Well, I had some rather mixed feelings about this one. Part of me really liked it, but part of me was kind of bored with it for the most part. Once I got finished with this graphic novel, I kind of realized that nothing much actually happens. And considering that this is Loki, the arch nemesis of Thor and all of Asgard, you would think that just all this great stuff would be going on. But Loki actually spends the entire story just in this pit of self-pitying, and he can't seem to make a single decision. This whole graphic novel is basically just this whole big long commentary with Loki basically talking to himself and questioning his choices and questioning his past, but also questioning his destiny and questioning whether or not he should execute Thor. So yeah, this whole graphic novel is really immersed in more of character development and really kind of discovering the Loki character and seeing what it is that makes him tick. So yeah, if you are a graphic novel reader and you're looking for action, you're not going to get it in this one because there's pretty much no action. It's like I said, it's just all just Loki with continuous dialogue and just him talking to himself. Which wouldn't be bad, but it just kind of gets a bit monotonous after a while because it seems like Loki just has the exact same conversations with himself over and over and over again, to the point that you as a reader, you're thinking, okay, I get it. One of the biggest gripes that I had with this novel had to do a lot with just all these random characters that would be introduced and then go nowhere, because you would often think, oh, that plot's gonna go somewhere, but it wouldn't. Like early on, there's this one character, Lorelei, and it felt like she was just thrown in on the page for male readers to drool over because she was quite scantily clad. And then even Loki's stepmother, Frigga, she just kind of randomly pops up. She's only there just to verbally abuse him, just like every other character, which kind of goes nowhere either because it's like, okay, everyone hates Loki, get on with it. The few scenes that I did really enjoy in this, though, were Loki's conversations with characters like Thor and Odin and Sif. I did really appreciate those scenes, and I liked what they were trying to get across. And since this is a graphic novel, let's talk about the artwork really quickly. This is quite gritty. The artwork is in color, but like I said, it's very gritty, and the colors are actually kind of muted. There's almost a sepia-like tone to the artwork. A lot of the panels in this book are full of a very heavy shading and just really dark colors. What I most really liked about this book was actually not so much the story itself, but all of the extra stuff that was found in this. There was like a lot of stuff with character designs, and then there were also 3 additional comics inside. For instance, one of the comics is Loki's very first appearance in the Marvel Universe in Journey into Mystery number 85, I think it is, where you see Loki for the very first time and him fighting with Thor. And then there's also a comic, Journey into Mystery number 112, which shows how Odin first found baby Loki and defeated the frost giant Laufey. And then there's Thor number 12, Diversions and Misdirections, which features Loki, who is just gender bending and doing all sorts of crazy stuff and rewriting history. And this is kind of horrible, but I actually really liked the extra comics in this graphic novel, more so than the actual graphic novel itself. Next, I'm going to be reviewing Journey into Mystery, Volumes 1 and 2, which I think you can kind of read right after blood brothers, I think it would all make sense. You probably don't actually even need to read Blood Brothers. You can probably just go into this just fine. And these 2 volumes of Journey into Mystery feature Kid Loki, and Kid Loki is the best thing ever, you guys. In these 2 graphic novels, Loki has been reborn as a child, and a very mischievous child at that. And there's tons of things that he has to fight and battle, and he has to make a lot of decisions about where his loyalties lie. And in fact, Loki may be the actual savior of Asgard, after all. You guys, if you are a Loki fan, these 2 graphic novels are a must for Loki fans. You will not be disappointed. I have no words for these 2 graphic novels. They were mind-blowing. Just the best thing ever, like I said. They are so incredibly humorous and just full of witty puns and an abundance of cultural references. It got a little ridiculous. Seriously, I don't think I've ever laughed so much while reading a book. I felt like I was laughing every single page. Like I said, Kid Loki has to be the best thing ever. Even though he's a child, the thing is, he'll still just come out with these things that just an adult would probably say, and it's really humorous when he says it. He would have these moments where he would behave like an adult, but then he would have other times where he would make use of his child persona and be very childish and use that in some way. And the great thing that Kieran Gillen does is that he makes Loki both wise and naive. He has a very fine balance of the wiseness and the naivety. And flashes of what Loki used to be as an adult are very apparent, and those flashes of him as an adult are the things that Kid Loki tries and struggles to stay away from because he wants to be a different person. What I really loved about these 2 graphic novels, besides Loki himself and a lot of the other characters, I really liked how creative these graphic novels were. It's not just a simple matter of telling a story and, having panels and artwork and everything. There's so much more creativity to it, which was very unique, that I don't think I've ever seen before. There is an omniscient narrator who is telling this entire story. On occasion, he'll foreshadow things in a very humorous fashion, or even poke fun at events as they play out. When the narrator is speaking, it's often in these little boxes at the top of the page that look like scrolls. So there's a part where the narrator is speaking in his little scroll box, and on the page, Loki is looking up at the box, the scroll box with the text. He's looking up at it, and then all of a sudden, he reaches up and he takes down the text from the narrator and he rips it up. And there's just a lot of stuff like that where kind of the characters and the narrator and kind of even you are all interacting together, and it's so well done and very creative. I do think Volume 1 is a tad bit more difficult to get into. The stories are a bit more confusing, but still very, very well done and fun. But I do think Volume 2 is definitely my favorite out of both of these volumes. I think I preferred the stories in this one. And plus the character development in this one just goes to some really great places that I loved. Like I said, if you are a Loki fan, you gotta pick these 2 up. If you have no idea where to start with Marvel Comics, I highly recommend starting with these 2. I think they're very easy and accessible to get into, and any backstory there is about previous story arc, it's all pretty well explained. I was never confused. So yeah, for God's sake, pick these up. You will not regret it. I enjoyed them immensely. I could seriously just talk endlessly about these books. And then last, I have Loki, Agent of Asgard by Al Ewing. Loki is now grown up in this graphic novel. He's not the kid version. Though, I do think after you read the Journey into Mystery arcs, I do highly recommend going into this one next, because there are a lot of references in this that harken back to Journey into Mystery. And I think kind of reading those and then going right into this, I really appreciated that, and it all made more sense to me. The basic overall premise of this book Loki, he's working for the All-Mother, and he's going on all these missions. He's almost kind of like a James Bond sort of figure, just kind of more of like a anti-hero version of James Bond. You guys, this was so much fun. I had the most brilliant, amazing time reading this. I also really like the artwork in this. I was reading Blood Brothers, which was very dark and gritty, and then I was reading Journey into Mystery, which wasn't as dark and gritty. It lightened up quite a bit in the artwork department. And then I read this, and the artwork is just so fun. It's kind of colorful and vibrant, and yeah, it's not depressing. And Loki is extremely good looking. Can I be in love with a drawn character? Good God, he's really hot. I almost feel like Marvel is kind of trying to capitalize off of the Tom Hiddleston fangirl craze, because that's kind of what this felt like on occasion. Early on, we see a shot of Loki naked in the shower. There's a lot of mentions of him being very good looking. Even a couple references to him looking like a member of One Direction, which was really hilarious. And even his clothes, they have a very sleek and sexy design to his outfit. So yeah, I do think the Loki in this is very heavily inspired by Tom Hiddleston's portrayal in the Thor movies. The writing in this is absolutely glorious. Like with Kieran Gillen's Journey into Mystery, there is just nothing but witty puns and cultural references and just humor everywhere. There's a brilliant use of the Princess Bride in this, so I'm not going to spoil it, but I really liked how they used the Princess Bride in this. And I think what Al Ewing does with Agent of Asgard, he kind of continues what Kieran Gillen did with Journey into Mystery, and continues that trend of making Loki a very likable anti-hero. He's still a character who lies and tricks and steals, and he's all up to all that mischief, but you still, oddly enough, really like him. Compared to Blood Brothers, which I reviewed earlier, where he was so self-pitying and just, he was very evil and you couldn't really connect with him at all. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So fun. I need Volume 2 now. I don't even think Volume 2 is coming out to 2015. So, have you guys read any of these graphic novels, or do you plan on reading any of them? Like I said, especially Journey into Mystery and Agent of Asgard, just amazing from start to finish. So many hilarious moments, and I was laughing constantly. And really great stories and artwork. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye guys.